Good evening, and welcome to this week's London by Gaslight, a late Victorian age Vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in 1892. Awakening for the night in the City of London this week is Eveline, the daughter of Cacophony, portrayed by Miss Hutz. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor slumber. You're getting hungry tonight. Aldrich of the Clan of Shapers, portrayed by Bully from Tablegoth. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor state. You're also getting hungry tonight. Thurston of the Nosferatu, portrayed by Nitro Typat. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor slumber. Wonderful. That's going to be your only successful roll of the night. Regular viewers will know I don't usually start the show with a content warning, but this week I feel I have to start the show with a content warning. Please be aware that we are dealing with something of a very sensitive nature this week. It's all been discussed with players, and they're okay with it. However, you watching this may not be, in which case, take a break, walk away from the screen, grab a cup of tea, and come back. Hopefully. With that said, we start this week in Eveline's theatre. Eveline received a telegram from young man, requesting her to join him in the theatre. He persuaded her and Aldrich to manage. He mentioned something about auditions and placing a high value on Eveline's opinion. She travels across the city and enters into the renovated theatre. As she steps through the main entrance into the grand entrance hall, she is struck by the grandiose redecorations. The chandelier sparkles under the newly installed electric lights. The bar on the side is stocked fully with high-class bottles of champagne, wine, and spirits. Eveline glides through the lower doors that provide entrance to the performance area and finds young man sitting in one of the many comfortable chairs that look at the stage. Upon the stage is a handsome young woman, clearly wearing her best clothes, but they fall short of being expensive and decadent. The woman is clearly trying her best, but has little to work with. Behind her is a table and a large coil of rope laid out as if to be used for some kind of scene. As Eveline enters, young man stands and turns to face her. Miss Eveline! Wonderful! Wonderful! You are here just in time. This is Sally. She has come to audition for us from Mile End Road, in the East End. Her father is very ill, and she is hoping to perform here regularly so she can help her poor, elderly father get some medicine. A truly harrowing tale, don't you agree?
Oh, yes, you poor thing. Yeah, I would love to have a regular performer.
Come,
As long
Miss
as you can
Eveline.
muster it, of course.
Come, Miss Eveline, sit by me. Sally, please, entertain us. What would you like to do, Eveline?
I will go sit and say, feel free to begin when you're ready.
As Eveline sits herself down, young man has a menacing smile on his face and turns his head to face the stage after watching Eveline place herself down. Sally takes a deep breath and sings as passionately as she can muster. Sadly, it is unimpressive, and her melody falls flat. Young man holds his nose in 2 fingers and shakes his head, turning his arched face towards Eveline. Miss Eveline, what do you think?
There is a lot of room for improvement. While I don't think that we can hire you at this time, definitely keep practicing, and maybe you'll get there someday.
It simply wasn't good enough. Sally, look at this auditorium. Look at this grand theatre. Did you see the area as you entered? We cannot tolerate anything but the best kind of performance here. But fortune is with you this night, Sally, for I believe you may have the potential to be a great singer. Come, Eveline! Show her what a real singer sounds like. Let us take to the stage and demonstrate for her. Young man
And
stands.
Of course, any opportunity that Eveline has to go on stage, she rushes up there.
Young man stands and extends his arm and hand for Eveline to take. He escorts her up to the stage, leading her to stand next to Sally, who nervously smiles at Eveline. Miss Eveline, please demonstrate your talent. Show Sally how it's meant to be done.
I will face Sally and put her hands in mine. We're making a connection. I'm looking in her eyes as I start singing Angel of the Night.
That's going to be an automatic
From Phantom of the
success.
Opera.
Oh, that's going to be an automatic success. And young man claps loudly, slowly and deliberately. Now, that is a performance. You notice how Miss Eveline regulates her breathing in and out as she still manages to maintain her singing. Notice the power she is constantly able to maintain in every single note she sings. I believe we can teach you how to do exactly that. Come! Lay on this table. Breathe in deeply. No one said he had to tell the
How
truth.
is this going to help her?
You'll see, Miss Eveline. You'll see. Patience. Young man steps to the side and raises his arm, gesturing to the table, and takes the thick coil of hemp rope off it, holding it in his right hand, as Sally nervously approaches the table and lays herself down upon it, taking deep breaths, revealing the broken stitch seams upon her dress. Now, Eveline, I shall restrain her, and then you can teach her.
I'm not sure I can teach her in this sort of way.
Nonsense.
She really just needs to go home and practice.
Nonsense, Miss Eveline, nonsense. If she can practice lying down, where it is far easier for air to enter her lungs and leave them, she'll be able to do it standing. The woman at first struggles. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
The woman at first struggles and attempts to resist, but young man simply tells her to be still. She complies, but still looks terrified, as young man meticulously ties Sally down, preventing her from making any kind of movement. He ties the final rope down and turns to Eveline. Now, Miss Eveline, how do you feel about dogs?
Eggs.
Wonderful. I love animals. Dogs especially. So obedient and loyal. Not like people.
Too bad you never got to meet Mr. Cuddles.
I'm sure I would have loved Mr. Cuddles. Since my embrace, I have found people to be obedient and pliable, though they still lack loyalty. No amount of coaxing can bring that forth. As to wit, I have these two handsome strays I have recently taken in. Treble! Pitch! Come! Young man says, as two large, but clearly underfed dogs patter onto the stage and stand next to young man. Young man reaches into his expensive jacket and pulls out a beautiful, extremely sharp large knife and hands it in its sheath to Eveline, handle first. The smooth, cold ivory handle feels solid in her palm as young man speaks. Now, Miss Eveline, use the knife to carve a piece of her face away.
That doesn't seem constructive to her singing at all. I have many years of training, even before my embrace, and this is a very unconventional approach.
I'm sorry. Please allow me to be clearer. Please allow my keyboard to work.
What am I rolling?
Take the knife and carve a piece of her face away. And you will be rolling Composure and
Composure
Wits.
and wits. That's not going to get me anywhere.
Going for it?
There's nothing else I can do. Even if I got a
Alright.
critical on one.
The knife scores its way through Sally's flesh. You've got a reroll from Ken Daddy.
Do it.
Thanks, Kendu.
I'll go ahead and roll those two. Nope.
The knife scores its way through Sally's flesh, deeply and slowly. The thick crimson blood slowly drizzles down her jawline as she begins to writhe in pain and moan. Young man stands behind them both, urging Sally to scream and Eveline to carve deeper, to remove a piece of her flesh. Eveline pushes the knife deeper and soon carves out a small chunk of her face. Young man opens his palm for Eveline to pass him the flesh, which he takes and proceeds to feed one of the dogs with it. Eveline!
As he feeds the dog, I go, "Oh, who's a good boy?"
Eveline! Carve a bigger piece. Don't be so delicate. She needs to feel it, every piece of the blade inside of her face. It's the only way she can learn.
I'm still under the compulsion, right?
For another 3 hours.
As I continue to cut, I start humming. Even though I know, I think I'm doing this of my own accord, I'm humming a very sad, melancholy song.
The knife is once more placed into Sally's cheek and carves out a larger piece of flesh. Sally starts to scream, and the young man begins to mimic a composer, thriving in the pain screams echoing through the grand hall. That's it, Eveline! Wonderful! Wonderful! She is truly making a breakthrough. Carry on. Carve every bit of her face. She will sing with the voice of heaven itself.
Still don't think she has the range. But, of course, I continue on.
Eveline slowly takes her time cutting larger pieces of flesh away, exposing the bone and muscle beneath her face, each time handing it back to young man, who proceeds to feed it to the dogs. Sally slips into shock, and her breathing becomes shallower and shallower. As she finally gives in to her grievous wounds, her lifeless head turns in the puddle of fresh blood upon the blood-soaked table. Eveline places... Young man places his hand upon Eveline's shoulder and tells her to stop. Miss Eveline, she was not strong enough. And worst of all, her singing was still never any real good. A pity, but I shall
Didn't
continue.
have the pitch.
I shall continue with the auditions. Treble, pitch, dinner. Miss Eveline, Thank you for coming. I see no need for you to stay if you wish to leave. The dogs stand up on the table and begin to tear into the woman's flesh, ripping it off her bones and feasting on Sally's remains as young man takes his place back in the theatre seats. Eveline leaves the auditorium and the theatre behind her, feeling herself losing part of her grip on humanity as she turns her back on the theatre, getting into a carriage. And you take 4 humanity stains.
As I ride back, I'm feeling a mixture of like head over heels in love, but also very sad, but can't quite place why.
The coterie, Sans, Alistair, and Inspector Grey, has assembled within the Whitechapel House's meeting room. They each take their seat assigned for them. Notice that Alistair's seat is no longer tucked in under the table, as Eveline enters into the room last, as always. The coterie need to inform Aldrich of what Valerius told them. Their successful
Is this the
acquisition...
same night?
Yeah. No. This will be the
Okay,
night
good.
after.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not God, I'm just a storyteller, but thank you. They each take their seat assigned for them, and notice Alistair's seat is no longer tucked in under the table, as Eveline enters into the room last, as usual. The coterie need to inform Aldrich of what Valerius told them, their successful acquisition of the Kama Sutra, and plan for Eveline and the coterie to deliver the book to Patricia at her brothel. Upon the table is a folded letter with a wax seal.
Although I'm late, I'm actually not as late as I normally am. That wasn't the whole making everyone wait for the moment type thing.
It seems that the inspector went out drinking again and maybe a little bit too hungover for tonight.
That's
Right.
probably a good thing. You should have seen him last week.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't witness it myself. Business, busier and busier each night. Where are inspectors out drinking? I don't see Alistair here. Everything else go all right last time?
All right is a bit of a stretch, but yes. Also, Alistair is no longer with us for the time being.
Really?
He's been tasked with something mysterious by his clan, and of course, you've got to follow that.
Oh, he is quite the loyalist to clan and sect these days.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if it was secretive or if he just didn't remember. But it was something given to him by the Primogen, so...
Alright, well, I mean, if he's going to be gone a while, that'd be a bit sad, actually. But also, I have a feeling I probably would have had to have killed him. Glad I don't have to do that anymore.
No killing coterie members. No killing.
I mean, he obviously had a problem with me. I was being quite patient for a very long time. It just seemed like things were about to get to that point. But now I don't have to. I don't want to. I don't like doing that. All right. So he's off doing business. Gray is off. How did everything else go then? Required the book. We won't say in front of present company. Say looking at Thurston and.
Of course. I mean, we did acquire what was needed, and I give my jacket pocket a pat. I've also...
reading it. Why do you have that in your jacket?
Well, we didn't want it in the presence of certain people, but I felt it necessary to keep it on my person, so I keep it hidden.
You exaggerate.
He made a copy.
I didn't.
Right, we talked about that. You were gonna do drawings of what you saw in there. How's that coming along?
Shiv, would I have been able to do that in a week's time?
I mean,
It
distractions
could be.
aside, yes.
I've got 4 humanity. I don't get distracted. I've finished and remade. Now give the original to whoever, or to Patricia, was it?
I mean, present company will allow. You should show us what you've done, Thurston. I want to see your handiwork.
Oh,
So I'm thinking
but-
this is quite a lot of times controversy and things that people aren't supposed to see are things that people will pay good money to see. This could be one of our first shows.
we did have to kill quite a few people to get a hold of it, so...
Really? Who had it?
Yeah, the very perverted captain was very adamant in not letting us have it. He didn't even wait for words. We entered his corridors, and him and his first mate attacked us.
Sorry I wasn't there. You held your own, though? That's good. Look at you, Thurston. I assume you're the one who cleaned up most of it?
For the most part, Evelyn did her fair share as well.
I was being sarcastic. I assumed Evelyn did everything. But alright, good. That's good. You worked well together. Alright. Now, Thurston, if you would...
For show? Do you mean in the theater?
Well, you don't have to, of course, be in that particular... I have 2 theaters, you know. Your theater, I would never dream of it. But I have that other theater, much smaller, a little more intimate. I think that's where I sort of try out some of these more experimental shows.
Seems highly improper, and I don't want to be a part of any of these experimental shows. None of your Zamiti stuff that you're doing, I don't want to be a part of it.
Well, it's not Zamichi stuff, it's business. It's lucrative.
It's
Well, you've never complained about my money before. And most people say everywhere I make money is quite improper. At the very least, illegal.
It's a theater. It's improper.
Alright, then do you want me to take my improper funding from that theater? I thought
your
Is
theater.
everything alright with you? I thought you and your one friend have been doing a lot of good work. Getting things off the ground in your theater.
Yes, indeed.
Alright. Now, Thurston, you're about to show us pornographic images you've drawn.
Why, yes. Let me go actually grab my copy. I keep it safe here at the house. I'll run up to my room, grab it from under my pillow. 'Cause
Run up
that's
to my
the best
room,
place
grab
to
the
hide.
porn.
Yeah. It's right under the bed. It's in a box. And yeah, I'll run back down.
It's not in the mattress? Between the mattress?
It was before, but then the images changed in my head midway through. Here you go, Aldrich. It's a bit crude. I'm not the best artist, but copying is copying.
I thought you were a very good artist. Oh, an art critic, aren't you?
I mean, you can critique art without being good at it.
Art critics are usually the worst artists.
Hope you're not one of
Critique what
those.
you can't
Thurston.
do.
Yes.
See?
Out of curiosity, do you want me to roll anything to see how well I copied the book?
Ooh. He does now, I hope.
Not exactly sure what drama I could introduce if you fuck up the role, to be honest.
That's fair.
Drew a willy in the wrong place or something?
No,
People
well, I
pay
mean,
good
I
money
just
for
thought-
shit like that.
I mean, if it's bad, Oliver's probably gonna make him do it again. A good
Yeah, I
cop.
was thinking like
His
if it
breasts
rolled
supposed to be the same size?
really- I didn't have any anything from real life to base it off of, so like I said, I just copied it directly from the book.
All right. I think this will do. I think this work is inspiration for other artists and whatnot and performers. What about job, Thurston?
Thank you.
Unrelated. I just had a thought when you went up to your room. No one went in my room when I was gone, did they?
No. Why?
Alistair did.
It's curious. Not surprised. Alright, that's fine. So, the next step, I suppose, is to get this book to Trisha, right?
Yes.
Then that leads to quite a winding road with this one. And then they'll get us one step closer to the set heights, right?
The sooner that we can be rid of this book, the more comfortable I'll feel.
So we don't have the inspector with us. He's the one with actual membership.
True.
That doesn't mean we can't drop off the book.
Maybe
Right, but
all
he's the one that we're trying to push up in the ranks so they trust.
true.
Well, give me a moment and I could come up with something.
But wouldn't delay be worse?
He'll be there. Ways around things like that. An easy fix. Right, good. You've
Has,
got the book. You're go on.
Has anybody read this letter that's been sitting here on the table?
Thurston, how about you read it to us?
No.
Thanks.
Are you part of this
Captain.
conversation now?
Yes.
Asked and answered.
Very well then. I'll pick it up. I'm probably gonna like hold the paper pinkies out. Just cause.
The letter is from Dirk and simply reads that the coterie are expected in Elysium at some point tonight.
Hmm.
Dirk, XO, smiley face. Typical La Sombra shit, you know.
Typical La Sombra smiley face.
Yeah. Little doodle of a
Elysium.
matchstick man getting stabbed in the back.
Alright, it's easy enough. So maybe the book first and that. Is there anything else to report from your outings last time?
We have another suspect for the Amaranth.
Oh, where did this come from?
I don't quite
No.
believe it. It came from Valerius.
Oh, I see he's coming through. Quicker than I expected.
He refused to
I
give
don't-
us any proof.
Yeah, I don't think you would have liked how he did it. He essentially said, "This man did it. Now you need to prove it, or else no one will believe you."
I mean, it's Valerius, right? It's about what I expect.
True.
But the person he's accusing is Roger de Camden. Pretty close to Mithras. We
What
can't
do
just
we
go in there accusing him.
know of him, Shiver?
At this point, he is a relatively unknown person. Valerius relayed the information that he is a regular in Mithras' court. That's about it. You'll all know instantly from that, you can't just go storming into Mithras' court and say, he done it.
This might be the most high stakes thing we've done then. To accuse someone.
I don't
Right,
think
yeah.
we accuse him until we get more proof. Any proof.
Oh, right, exactly. I mean, even digging up proof could be.
Yeah.
This is one that we will need to do. Exactly correct.
Well, I mean, I don't think we could do it tonight because we are missing the inspector, but I do have a pull for maybe a boon I could get from a lovely Nosferatu you all have come to know I'm in contact with. And it has to do with the Patricia woman that we are taking the book to.
What do you mean?
Well, the last time I spoke with Clara, I found out that she had Patricia help her in a ritual of some kind that left her with Patricia having custody of something that belongs to Clara that Clara would like back.
What is it?
Well, maybe keep that on the, words are escaping me right now.
It's not another book, is it?
No, something much more important to Clara herself. Let's just say it's very important. If you come to find out what it is, that is, whatever. I don't really care, but I don't
Just
think
if we're gonna
Clara
steal
wants me-
something from Patricia for you, we need to know what it is.
Well, to narrow it down, it's in a jar, and it might be a heart, or half of a heart.
Oh, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Actually, thought she had your member in a jar somewhere. Or something. Clara wanted it back. All right.
No, that is safely tucked in my bag.
I didn't
Thurston.
need to know that, Thurston.
I was just sat here writing out 1 XP point for not giving away secrets, and then you went and gave away a secret. Take 1 aggravated damage. Willpower damage.
Willpower?
Okay.
Hey, he held up at first. I had to ask twice.
I couldn't think of any way of escaping it.
Best Nosferatu ever.
A box containing something close to her heart.
You really think I'm that clever?
A something of sentimental value from when she was mortal. Bloody
Either
cut
way-
it.
Either way, I figure if we need someone digging around where we ourselves don't want to go, then maybe helping a much more competent Nosferatu than myself would be the right way to go.
Thurston, don't say that. You're plenty competent. Competent Nosferatu I live with.
But Clara is often where I get my information. She is much farther up the stepladder than I am.
Well, you know how to use her, so that makes you pretty clever yourself. Right, so if we're to steal something from Patricia,
I'll send
I
more
mean,
flowers for you.
unless the opportunity truly presents itself, we might want to wait until after secured Patricia's favor to know where the set tights are. Yeah. Because once the set tights are fully exposed, Patricia could be our enemy, it won't matter. They're all going to be run out of the city.
Right. But that's for another night. It appears Dirk wants to see us. I can't imagine what for. Haven't been to Elysium in forever.
Right, you can do that if you want to. Hold on to the book a little longer, I understand that.
No.
Well, like I said, we kind of are in need of the inspector to keep going down that road. And he sadly isn't here.
I mean, we could
I
still
really
just
don't
turn in
think-
the book.
Yeah, I really don't think we should be in possession of this book much longer. I don't want to be caught with it. You know what that would do to my reputation?
Why do you think I have been the one holding it?
Look, I'll go get the inspector. You all wait here a moment. Anything troubling while I'm gone? Excuse himself from the table and head down to his lab.
Evilene and Thirster just sitting there awkwardly.
We'll give you two a moment to think of something, if anything, while Aldrich heads down to his laboratory, that's the word for it, on his own, and closes the door behind him, making sure he's not followed and has no one interrupt his work.
He's gonna polish one of his mirrors and do his best to change his own face to appear as Inspector Gray.
Interesting.
Flesh crafting for me, please. Is that flesh crafting, or would that count as
So there's specifically a role for that, which is I have a specialty in crafting faces, which is a craft role. But I do have to do I need to rouse for it. Hungrier. I need to make the roll to see if I can. Changes, so that's good. I only need one. And then yeah, so this is a what is it? I've been planning on doing for so long, and I set it up so I could do it, and I forgot about it. Dexcraft. That's what it is. Swap around my dex a little bit using that. Another change for craft.
God, I love some HC.
I'm gonna rouse this too. I want this to be good. Four successes.
I'd say that's going to be enough to do a very good approximation of Inspector Gray. Right down to the voice.
Okay. Then once that's done, changing my stature everything pretty much to specifically make sure I get the face right. I'll probably take a little bit, but then I'll head back up as the inspector.
Eveline, Thurston, anything you wish to discuss before Aldrich, Inspector Gray, Aldrich, appears?
You know, it's a real shame you refused to look at this book. You would find some of it pretty interesting. Like, I didn't even know that was physically possible.
She'll, like, do the whole look through her hands thing.
Yeah, I've just got the book open, pointed towards her. It's probably something very mundane. See, I told you I could get you to look.
I'm sure it's very good. I'm not looking.
Sure you're not.
And Inspector Gray stepped into the meeting room.
Oh, Inspector, it's so good to see you. We were actually just speaking about how we could use your presence for what we need to do tonight.
Why are you
Yes.
wearing Aldrich's clothes?
I just ran into Aldrich. Miss Eveline, he caught me drinking again and stark naked, so he gave me his clothes so I can be more proper.
You don't sound drunk. Although you do sound quite odd.
I don't.
Right, I'm
You
still
should
working on the
alcohol.
I'm still working on the voice. All right, I'll get it once we. For some reason, every time I think of Inspector, I want to talk about. My voice changes into like an old man made of sterner stuff, and I need to remember it's not that voice; it's this other voice. This isn't easy what I do, Evelyn. All right, it's an art. It's not I'm working on.
I would not understand anything that you do.
I also don't feel like you would have given your clothes to a naked inspector. You probably would have just, I don't know. Just
Of
doing
course
something
not.
else,
Right, I should find some clothes, more Inspector-like, throw on a jacket and whatnot, and then we could go drop off the book. And then from there,
Top hat.
Elysium. Right, top hat.
If anyone's going to have one on hand,
You'd be
Do.
thirsted, I would think. It might be a bit moist, though.
oh, I mean in real life.
Oh, I've got one right over there. I have 3, actually.
That top hat was the inspiration for your entire character in season 1.
Yep.
And so, the coterie head out into Aldrich's carriage.
We feed first, because I'm the brink of doing
Absolutely.
something terrible if anything happens.
Absolutely.
Pickish.
And you still look like Inspector Grey, correct?
Mhm.
This is going to be interesting. As Aldrich's carriage arrives outside his opium den. All 3 going in?
Yes.
Wonderful. And you are greeted on the desk by an attractive, thin, straight
Oh,
black-haired woman that gives each of you a smile and then turns her face to what she believes is Inspector Grey, and her face turns to that of a face of thunder. She keeps her eyes fixated on the visage of Inspector Grey. What do you want here?
Can I have a talk with you in private?
What about these other 2 juicy morsels?
Aldrich sent us here to feed.
You will not be permitted inside of his private feeding room, but you will still be allowed inside of a VIP room.
Very well.
Even me?
Only the
Aldrich
master.
normally gives me special privileges.
Only the master is directly permitted inside. You were but his guests.
I'll take care of that. If I could just speak to you for 1 second, privately.
Her knuckles reach behind her back. You'll know, as Aldrich, that she tends to keep a dagger there, just in case. Of course, Mr. Grey. Lead the way forward. And she'll gesture to the small cloakroom on the side of the reception desk and takes you inside among the many cloaks, coats, and hats that have been hung up, keeping her right hand behind her back the whole time as she follows you in.
As they leave, I whisper to Thurston, "Why is she so bitchy?"
I don't know. I still don't even know who she is.
Aldrich's receptionist. I hope he's giving her a lashing.
I don't think he would do that disguised as someone else.
You'll notice, Aldrich, as you turn around, that Aneska's fangs are bared.
Right, it's enough of that. I hope, the real inspector, that you'll conduct conduct yourself a bit better. Playing the long game here, you know that. Right, and you know what I can do. You know what I did for you. Similar for myself, taking this guise to get into a bit of trouble, right?
Her hand quickly releases from the handle of the dagger in her back. The fangs retract. Master, I am so sorry. I did not know. Your work is always pure perfection. But why bear the face of that bumbling idiot?
Well, I figured if I could fool you, I should be able to fool anyone.
I regret my actions.
And remember, even a bumbling idiot can be quite useful in the right circumstances, and I plan on making some use of him tonight. Now, if you'll please lead me and my friends to the room.
Of course, master. And she'll proceed out of the cloakroom, bowing slightly lower than normal, and leads you into Aldrich's special private room. You each take a seat among the silk and satin pillows and throws. What may I get you tonight?
Usual for myself. Pick me up with Eveline, yes? Thurston, anything in particular?
No, nothing in particular. Probably with what we're probably going to get up to tonight, probably just the usual, which is nothing.
Right.
As I get into the comfy couch, I just mutter, "That's more like it."
She'll just sort of whisper to Aldrich. Even that one, master?
Especially that one.
As you wish. And she'll glide backwards out of the room. Is there anything you wish to discuss in private before your meals arrive? Very well. Moments later, you are joined by 3 mortals. One of them looks incredibly drowsy. The other is just moving their eyeballs around in their skull, taking absolutely everything in. And the other is slightly intimidated, but is loyal enough to be taken. They each sit next to their respective hunters. Who would like to feed first?
I'll kick this one off if that's okay.
Of course.
I don't want anything, man. I'm gonna reroll 2 of those. I want to drink a lot. 4.
Wonderful. How much would you like to take?
If possible, can I take 3? Then I have to
Absolutely.
send them to the hospital.
Aldrich extends his 4 fangs and brings them to bear upon his target's flesh, biting deeply into veins and supping of the blood inside, taking more than usual until he is full and fed and feels the tainted blood coursing through his own veins. His prey slips slowly into unconsciousness and falls flat on his face onto the floor. You may slake 3 hunger and add 1 die to any 1 category of pool you so choose. Who's next?
I will, as usual, be singing to my prey, trying to be seductive, but my song is actually about a woman killing her lover. It's quite melancholy.
I'm sure there must be a song I know about that, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But please, roll your feeling roll. Do know one. It's On the
I feel like I should know one, but I'm not getting anything.
I know the album,
I'm
I know
just
the band, I know what the song's about. Can't for the life of me remember the name of the goddamn song, and that's gonna annoy the fuck out of me. Something
After
about
last
roses.
week, every time Evelyn sings, I'm just going to start playing the immigrant song in my head.
Ah!
Eveline extends her 4 fangs to her prey, who seems to be tapping his leg, along with the beat. She sinks her fangs deep into the flesh, penetrating his skin and veins, and supping deeply from the body-warm liquid inside. Would you like to feed for 2 or 3?
2.
Okay. And releases her prey, after taking enough to quench her thirst. Despite being under the influence of a strong stimulant, he leans back in virtual ecstasy, as Eveline feels the tainted blood flowing through her veins. You may add 1 category to any pool of your choice.
And diced.
That's the one you use for No Kindred Hungry, isn't it?
It's my Samdi hat, yeah.
That. And the vest.
Side of Grey wears a grey vest.
Thurston, your feeding roll, please. Sticking with it, or want to reroll?
Yeah, I'll re-roll the 2. WP reroll. There we go.
How much would you like to slake?
I'll go for 3. 3 would be the perfect amount.
Okay. Thurston extends his own 4 fangs, bringing his bony, moist fingers around the prey so it can't squeal too much, and begins to pierce the flesh, supping of the body-warm liquid inside, and feeling it trickle down his throat, revitalizing him, and quelling his thirst and beast inside of him. He holds on a little bit longer, releases the prey, that also falls flat on its face to the floor. You may slake 3 hunger.
May I also heal?
Do a rouse check for me, please.
Sweet.
And
Thank
heal
you.
1 point of superficial. Blood potency 1?
Thank you.
Yep, 1 point. What would you like to do next?
Let's get rid of this damned book.
Read.
We're off then.
The coterie head out of Aldrich's opium den and into his carriage once more, heading across the city from the west end to the east. Is there anything you wish to talk about on your journey to Commercial Road? Very well.
Actually, yes.
Huzzah!
Sake of stretching out roleplay, and also this is good timing. I should explain something to while I have the 2 of you here. I trust the 2 of you more than I trust anyone else. You know that. I have found a new use for you remember Inesca, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Spectre Grey's
what?
wife, right? And then he turned her
What
into a
became of
kindred.
her?
Well, you just met her, right?
Is that why she was so bitchy?
She still has quite a thorn in her side about the good Spectre. For good reason, right? He didn't really handle the embrace for it. Turned her. He explained things to her, but you know how he is. Quite stuffy, right? And it just didn't take right. And she was a liability. She was going to get all of us killed if someone found out what he did.
Right.
No reason for her to be bitchy to us.
Right, she's quite unruly. But I have a knack for, I'm managing people, inspiring people, getting them to listen to me. So instead of simply forcing out a perfectly good kindred and his wife, don't forget, that's quite cruel. I've decided to repurpose her to still serve the coterie, serve our needs, and in a way, Inspector Gray. But she's quite obedient to me because I just have techniques that the inspector doesn't have under his belt. Good at so many things. This inspiring obedience is not one of them.
Well,
I've changed her up. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say that, yes, removing her from the not really a masquerade breach, but the
No, she was going to be a masquerade breach. She was going to cause a masquerade breach.
Well, I'm saying the unsanctioned childer of Inspector Gray, removing her from that situation was good, but as a caitiff, she still is a very interesting target for the Camarilla.
Right. If there's a time and a place to reintroduce her into proper kindred society, we can do so. But as for now, she's quite militant, quite capable, quite strong.
Quite bitchy.
Doing a very good job of running my business. Because we saw what happened. People have already made a play at coming in and tearing up the place. Kindred there waiting for them. Probably won't happen again, now will it?
Hopefully.
That's my thought, at least. And I'm sure at one point or another, this whole thing's going to come down on me. I've just been working on backup. I can't get the Camarilla Raic people to listen to me. I'll slowly build my own following of those who will. That's what I've been doing.
That's fair.
Got my heavy-handed, quite capable. Got Durston and other creatures. So I thought it was about time I had myself a vampire too. Now I do.
You're gonna have one of each, right?
I like collecting things, I really do. So, there you have it. I haven't told the inspector yet. I simply agreed to help him get rid of his problem, which I did. I stuck to my word. In a more roundabout way.
Well, if it works, be good to have.
Working quite well. And like I said, I tell each of you this because I trust you. Thurston, still giving my secrets away as easily as you give everyone else's, right?
Of course not, no. I have more reason to think that you could kill me rather than they could.
I truly don't even want to think about that, Thurston. That would kill me a bit.
I don't either, but,
But you're right,
some
I would do it.
Yeah.
Alright, perfect. So, once again, I'm trusting you with information, because sometimes I'm always scheming something, but each of you have interesting ways of seeing things. I'm not worried about either of you going and running the Camarilla, telling the Camarilla on. Well, if either of you can think of any interesting uses for the secret kindred, by all means. As with everything else, what is mine.
I don't care as long as she treats us with respect.
I know that is very important to you, and I will be working on it.
Thank you.
If you've noticed, she's been very respectful every time I, myself, am around. But she should treat you as the lady of your position, regardless. presence.
Exactly.
You exist.
Oh, you are not a part of this.
But if you've ever got problems, you just know you ask her. You say, "I want to speak to your manager right away," and she'll get me. And it'll be resolved.
I feel like Evelyn will be using that way more than I shall.
We all have our banes, this. All right, I'm glad it's off my chest. I feel better. I don't like hiding things. You know.
I don't
Let's
like
hope
thinking
this.
about you hiding things in your chest.
I don't know why you have a problem with that. Why? Especially after
Disgusting.
Mr. Cuddles, you have no room to talk. I'm sorry to say.
Cuddles is adorable.
Yes.
See?
I mean, do you also think a pile of raw meat is adorable? Because it's essentially what
Of
he
course
was.
not. Don't insult the legacy of Mr. Cuddles in that way.
I will never understand you, Evelyn.
This truly is just a. Yeah, all right. I will not argue. Let's strap off this porno.
Did you just say strap off?
Drop off. Shivs,
Huh,
that
where's
is.
Shiver's mind?
Sorry, I thought I pegged onto something there and I didn't.
There we go.
Do you want to go back to Michelle's heart?
No.
Because that's how you get back
I
to
heard
Michelle's heart.
No.
I heard that boat sank. Someone lit it on fire?
No. Still full of semen.
No, he's right. I heard a lot of sailors went down on Michelle's heart. It's Shiver's fault.
Oh, I avoided all this last week.
I thought I was done with it too.
The coterie arrive on Commercial Road, making their way through the street and small crowd that always seems to linger on the run down road, brushing past drunks, transients and street urchins begging for handouts as they head straight into the brothel that Patricia runs, finding it fairly quiet, likely due to the time of night. As before, in each corner are exotic and elegantly dressed women, dancing, exaggerating their exposed midriffs to the small gatherings of men and women, mesmerized by the display. The familiar man that dresses above his station weaves his way through the myriad of cheap tables and chairs and approaches the coterie. Good evening, lady, gentlemen. Pleasure to host you once more. What may we do for you?
I'm kind of looking around him and behind people like I'm looking for someone.
Yes, we have delivery from Miss Shaw.
Please, take a seat. Mistress said you would return, and request an audience with her. She will be out in but a moment. You are guided to cheap chairs and tables. May I get you a drink or anything while you wait?
No, we're actually in quite a bit of a hurry.
As you
I'd love a glass of brandy.
Brandy. I believe we have something that's approximate to brandy. He'll disappear off to the bar and return a few moments later with a cloudy, because of dirt, black brandy balloon and place it in front of you.
Pick it up, swirl it. Of course, never drink it.
Be surprised how often people don't drink brandy in this place.
Smell it.
You can smell the kerosene. Patricia glides into the main hall. The elegant lady is not the most beautiful woman that the coterie has seen, but knows exactly how to use her natural grace and charms to maximum benefit, drawing the attention from nearly everyone inside the grand hall, and places herself at the coterie's table, leaning forward and cupping her face in one hand as she looks deep into Eveline's eyes. Good evening, darlings. You are back so soon. Do you have good news for me?
Indeed. Thurston?
Ah, yes. I believe that you are looking for this, and I'll pull the book out.
Ah, I am so thrilled that you have been so successful. She takes the book from Thurston, opens it carefully, scanning a few of the pages and smiling to herself at some of the more worn-down pages. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I do believe I promised you something in return for this, didn't I? She reaches out with an open palm towards Eveline. My dear, it would be a pleasure to have you join my very exclusive society. Are you ready and willing?
You mean this? This is
No,
quite
no,
improper.
no. Something far more fitting your station.
Oh, that sounds much more like it.
Wonderful. You please me so much. Come with me, and we can induct you right away. We'll leave the men here to do whatever little things they want to do while we attend the really important affairs.
I
Patricia
don't say anything, but I follow her.
takes Eveline by the hand and leads her through the beads that she went through last week before that, and came face to face with her nanny in. She walks her through to the same room she met with her nanny and pulls a book off a nearby shelf that opens, revealing a very grandiose golden room with sandstone arches with a throne beneath it.
Oh, this is much more appropriate.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's simply wonderful. And she places herself in a golden throne. Miss Eveline, are you prepared to join us?
That depends. What do I need to do?
It's a very simple ceremony. We need to be able to rely on you as family, as a sister, a true blood sister.
Okay. What does that entail?
She puts a finger to your lips, and with her other hand reaches towards the throne and pulls out an elegant, golden, serpent-handled knife. She takes the finger away from your lips and pulls it out. Pulls her arm out, running the blade across her skin, making a small incision upon her arm, just enough to cause bleeding. She places the wound above your lips. Open your mouth and prepare to receive the gift.
She shrugs and opens her mouth, not only receiving the blood, but licking it off of Patricia's skin.
Just for completionist's sake, and tap dance around a bit as I find the appropriate sound effect to play, which I'm hoping I can do as I'm... There we go. What does it look like when you're opening your mouth? Gotta try to get the views in somehow. She places the wound directly above.
You want a hint? You should have had her cut her finger. Too late.
Yeah.
Aggravated willpower damage, Chef.
Shit. She clenches her fist and lets the blood drip slowly onto your tongue, which you gladly swallow. As you do so, you hear Endymion's voice.
You belong to me now.
Patricia withdraws her arm and sits back. You are now one of the Sisters of Set.
I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. It's all about family. And she starts humming We Are Family.
Soon we shall gather and meet. You shall rub shoulders with people far more important than what you may see in everyday life. It is our purpose and our journey to assist you, to elevate you, so that soon all of us sisters will be almost as important as the Queen herself.
So, this will get me fame?
If fame is what you seek, fame is what you shall have. If power is what you seek, power is what you shall have.
Sounds delightful.
Spoken like a true sister. Now please, Sister Eveline, join with those men and go forth into the night.
I have one more question.
Of course.
I'm looking for someone who's been a patron here before.
Indeed.
An older woman.
What is her name?
What was her name? Can't remember her name. Millie. Her name is Millie. She'd be dressed rather plain, much like a nursemaid.
Ah! I understand. You are still confused. Your nanny was not here. That was one of the sisters. We have defenses in place. Men are so easily threatened by women with power. It is important that I and the sisters all be kept safe. Your intent was unclear. Forgive the deception.
I just wanted confirmation that my nanny wouldn't be involved in a place like this. No offense.
Perhaps she is. Perhaps she isn't. It matters not. And soon,
Doesn't help.
you will soon let go of such pre-misconceptions. It is only the conceptions of men that make you think like this. Women are just as powerful, if not more powerful than men. And there is no shame in such primal urges.
Oh, you haven't heard me sing.
I hope to in the future.
I'd be happy to.
She sits back, gestures to the secret door, which I'm going to assume you walk through and meet up
Curtsy and, rejoin the coterie.
with the men of the coterie. You head
when
back.
I meet up with them.
You got it?
Our business here is done.
While that was going on, sorry I didn't want to interrupt that scene. I would have turned to Thurston, that Patricia herself was leading Evelyn off. Now might be the time to maybe search for that jar.
Yes, I do concur. With how important it is, I imagine it's kept in a very important place. If you owned an establishment like this, where would you hide something like that?
We've seen the direction she always comes from. She must have an office or something back there. Check her office. I will be, well, of course, just be unseen, but I'll look out just in case.
Right. How packed is this place?
It's not packed. It's fairly quiet.
Okay,
You wouldn't.
cool.
I mean,
Because
go for it. Come.
no, that works. Because it being crowded would make what I want to do more difficult. I want to try. While we're in this little booth area, I would like to cast Unseen Passage.
You'd be able to find
The fact
a
that
area that no one's looking at. Probably staring at the
yeah,
belly
I'd even
dancers
duck under the
instead.
table if I had to.
When Aldrich's like,
Yeah, I'll cast that and Silence of Death, even though we're in a noisy area.
rouse check for me,
And
please.
yes, sir.
Get in
I'd like
combat.
to put some bugs in his pocket with the instruction to fly back to me if things go bad.
Okay.
Yeah, and once I'm invisible and everything, to the best of my knowledge, I'm going to head towards where we see Patricia come from, whenever she comes in.
You'll head along a wooden corridor, passing by various curtained booths with silhouettes of women in various stages of fornication with men, other women, a mix of both, more than one of each, and so on. Probably getting distracted going, oh, I knew that one from page 4. And finally reach the end of the corridor and find yourself standing in the storeroom. Eventually, Eveline walks out through the secret door that is revealed to you and closes swiftly behind her. Do for me.
Okay.
Would you prefer wits and awareness, or I think wits and stealth could also apply?
Yeah, Wits and Stealth is one dot better, so.
Okay. Wits and stealth for me, please. And just before the door closes, through the leaking golden light that's spewing forth over the storeroom, you will catch sight of a jar that is extremely familiar to you, as it is the same one that Clara gave to you. Just on the shelf on the inside of the golden room. Quite high up.
So it's inside the gold room.
Inside the golden room.
Okay. And then the door's shut. Did Patricia go with Eveline?
Eveline is elegantly gliding out, proudly, and walking down the corridor. Bit of a mixed bag tonight for Eveline.
Okay, so it's in the room and Patricia's probably still in there. So I don't want to go opening attempting to open a secret door. At least I know where it is. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make a mental note of that and head back.
Do you still remember it by the time you get back to the Grand Hall?
Remember what?
That's what I thought. And Eveline approaches Aldrich, sitting on his own at the booth. Thou art muted.
I couldn't find my mouse. Where's Thurston? Our business here is done.
Oh, he got curious. He wanted to go see if his drawings matched up with some of the real life stuff. How did it go for you?
It went quite well. Oh, like I said, our business here is done. We don't need Inspector Gray.
Oh, indeed. Wait around here for Thurston to mosey back, and then we'll our way.
You're waiting for me to what? I just appear in the booth.
Oh, Thurston. See you here too. All right, I guess we should be going then. And we'll take our leave.
The coterie head out of the brothel and straight into Aldrich's carriage, making their way across the city towards Elysium. Anything you wish to discuss on the carriage ride, or just arrive at Elysium?
Before we go into Elysium, do you want to do anything about this? And I point at his face.
Inspector Gray's welcome at Elysium just like the rest of us.
You're not afraid of being found out?
I don't know how somebody would. I mean, I'll like tug on my face. It's not an illusion
tug
or
on
anything.
his face too.
Yeah, it's not an illusion. And flesh is this is what I look like. Even if someone were to look around see things that other people can't see, shouldn't it appear any different?
But if someone can figure it out, it's a pretty dead giveaway of what you are.
Thought you were the fun one, Eveline.
If you're found out, apparently we're good. If you're found out, my source of income is gone.
I mean, I don't think anyone will find out about it, but
Okay.
to play it safe, I could change back.
Also, Evelyn, that secret room you were in back at the brothel, do you know how to get in there?
Oh, you freaking Nosferatu.
You know I can.
That's all she says.
I mean, I am curious what actually happened. You were back there for a little while. What's the next step? Did you let her in? Did she let you in your club? What is this club? We're here for information gathering.
That's for us women to know.
I mean, you do remember the whole point of this is we are destroying these people, right?
Oh, we're destroying Set. The right?
Oh, and the Setites.
I read that. This is about women.
No, we're looking for Set. She didn't say anything about Set, because then our mission has failed. This should lead to the next step, which is we need to find the higher ups. She didn't say anything about that. Went there and talked about
We
women.
have to talk to more women to find out.
Being cheeky, Eveline, and I'm not sure I appreciate it when it comes to these
It's a woman's thing. You don't want to know about a woman's business.
I was asked specifically to know about this woman's business.
And I will find it out.
Alright.
Never mind. I was going to ask, what are you going to do? Dress up like a woman, but please don't.
I was truly just picturing how I was going to infiltrate it as a woman. But, I'll find out one way or another, but that is fine. As long as you keep the ultimate goal in mind, which is destroy them.
Of course.
Very well.
But you didn't happen to catch how that door opened, though.
Debating whether or not I would tell him.
I'm ready for either or, so.
He pulled on a book. It's just like any other secret room.
Okay. Well, good. I don't have to find out the hard way. Well, now I just need to figure out when I can go back there and get it, but I saw my objective, personal objective, and where it is. Now I just need to figure out when to go in there.
Good work, Thurston. Good work indeed. See? Good Nosferatu. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alright, I fix my face. Do you have a mirror?
Surely I have a mirror somewhere. A compact I'll pull out and
Yeah.
show him.
I'll let you do that for free because I don't think I want to deal with the drama that could happen if you fuck that up in the carriage.
I'll take it. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously saying keeping the clothing, whatnot, but we'll slowly just adjust himself. He has a few tools on him. Sometimes he'll make cuts to move pieces of flesh easier, but the way he does it, it's more like molding clay than anything. Like truly like pushing and things just stay where he pushes them.
Evelyn's like
Yeah,
covering her eyes, yet
yeah.
still holding the mirror out.
So mostly with a scalpel in hand, rolling his sleeves up, probably getting a little bloody doing it, but after a little bit, will have himself looking like Aldrich.
And as the carriage hurtles towards Elysium with the sounds of bones cracking, the wet squelches of muscles being placed in the face, it comes to a halt. Outside the building of the main Elysium, the coterie exit inside, making their way up the expensive marble staircase, entering into the large double doors and into the grand hall filled with kindred of the city. As they enter, Dirk notices them, raises from his seat, and in one of the darkest corners of the hall, beckons the coterie over.
Costume changes this episode. My Elysium wig.
As we walk in, of course, I will glance to the stage and see if there's any.
Stage is currently empty. Welcome, kindred. Come, take a seat and join me. We have business to attend to. Eveline, are you eating during business meetings?
Ordered this pizza 2 hours ago.
You're fine, I couldn't resist. Though I believe I speak for the entirety of the internet watching this. What have you got on your pizza?
Yeah.
I'm a pineapple on pizza person. Pineapple, bacon, and green pepper.
Okay. The Amaranth atrocities are suspiciously quiet for the time being. How goes your investigation into the Church of Set?
Made good progress.
Have you uncovered their intent in the city?
Not yet, but I believe both me and Inspector Gray have been able to infiltrate them to a degree.
I see. Inspector Gray is not always so successful. Sometimes I feel I'm his only fan.
How do I leave?
But tonight, there is something we must task you with. Deeper in the city, across the river is a house. It is a masquerade breach. The kine avoid it already, but it is something that is going to start trouble soon. A few urchin children have gone missing, having fallen victim to some game or other. It is only a matter of time until the rest of the kine begin to investigate it and expose it, and then us. This is not a poor part of the city either. You will be somewhat close to St. George's Cathedral. You will be on the edge of Newington. You can perhaps understand why we do not wish to draw ire of the locals, which includes the church. Questions?
So, what is our ultimate goal here again?
Drive whatever it is that is inside of this house out.
By whatever means necessary?
As long as you do not breach any of the traditions in doing so.
Any hints of what it is that we are up against?
We know it is not kindred.
I dare ask, is it anything scarier than a kindred? Two other kindred, that is.
We simply don't know.
Well, we will find out for you and remove it post-haste.
Excellent. Go forth into the night.
Very well. Stand, bow.
Anything else anyone wants to do before we proceed?
Is Clara here?
Well,
Sorry, Miss Hart.
Yeah, Clara will be around, but Miss Eveline, I believe I know what you want to do.
yeah, I'm gonna hop on stage and sing.
Damn right.
But if I see Thurston go over to Clara, I instantly start singing a love song.
Eveline proceeds to regale the many kindred inside of Elysium with her own version of 6 feet unders stripped, raped, and strangled.
Very romantic song.
In a way. It's either that or Tormentor of Christian Souls. Genuine song titles.
Seems more fitting. I feel the second one feels a little bit more fitting.
Would you like to go the whole hog and do Cannibal Corpse's entrails ripped from a virgin's cunt?
No, I've heard that one.
No, I'll say
many
that to their
times,
wedding
but-
day.
Okay, yeah, that's a special one. Yeah. Thurston proceeds over to Clara, who has just stood at the side of Elysium, watching the gathered kindred. Thurston. My Thurston.
Clara, I'm so glad that I'm seeing you more often these nights. Luckily this time I require nothing from you. I just wished to inform you that the thing you asked me about last time we spoke, I have located it and have begun the preparations to retrieve it.
Thurston. I would say bestill my non-beating heart, but that would be redundant. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
What is there anything I can do in return for you?
Well, the investigations we've been carrying out for the Camarilla, we have a new lead, but no real proof yet. And it is someone that is very high on the higher in the hierarchy of the court. So I think it will be very difficult for us to investigate him without coming under any scrutiny. That word.
Scrutiny.
Yeah.
Scurvy? Whoever is it?
Sorry, bad with names. What was his name again?
Roger de Camden.
Camden. I always get fixated on the interesting last name. Robert Camden? And I'm trying to say this in a very, very hushed tone.
Is he the brother of Roger de Camden?
Richard.
Roger!
I'm gonna go home.
This is like in Labyrinth when he can't call the right name.
An interesting suspect.
Yes, we're not entirely convinced, but it is a lead, and we think that all avenues must be investigated. So,
Naturally. Roger de Camden is something of a mystery, even to us. He is seen in court, of course, regularly, and in Mithras's company, but only in Mithras's company. So you understand why it is so difficult to acquire information about him.
precisely why I sought help.
He is of an interesting clan.
Oh?
He was... It depends, shall we say, on your viewpoint. The elders among us may say he is of the clan of death. But they have rebranded themselves. The few that have survived these modern nights, of course. They are known as the
Right.
Harbingers of Skulls.
That is a new name. That we were given a tiny bit of information on his clan, similar to what you just spoke of. But that was about it.
His clan was the victim of an unfortunate embrace, and then hunted down by the Giovanni, one by one. They were thought extinct until somewhat recently, when members claiming to be of the original bloodline started reappearing with the new name of Harbingers of Skulls.
Everyone needs to go through a rebrand at some point.
The Harbingers of Skulls usually align themselves with the Sabbat, or anyone opposed to the Camarilla. Roger de Camden, however, is aligned closely with Mithras.
Interesting. Very contradictory, isn't it?
Is it? The Camarilla lifted not a finger when the original clan was hunted down. They are naturally angry. Their brothers and sisters have been murdered, and the Camarilla just stood by despite the traditions.
No, not the clan's actions and wishes, but rather Roger's.
Who knows what his agenda is? Trying to get in the mind of one so old is troublesome.
Indeed. Well, thank you. I will continue my efforts. And if you happen to hear anything else about our query, then please let me know.
Naturally. Thurston, that god-awful book.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a copy?
Why would I ever do such a vile thing? And I'll give her a wink.
You did take down appropriate notes, I assume.
Oh, so much that they filled another book.
And she'll slap you? Not hard, so no release to roll. And then she'll just whisper in your ear, "Good boy."
Who would I be or would I be a good Nosferatu if I did not take proper notes?
You're learning. Anything else you wish to do before we move along? Very well. At this juncture, we shall take a break. And we shall be back soon.
Sure.
With iron railings separates the land of the house from the rest of the city. The coterie gather their senses over themselves as Aldrich steps forward, finds the gate unlocked and pushes it open, gesturing for the rest of the coterie to proceed forward down the long, loose stone path that leads to the overgrown marble stairs leading up to the house's grand double doors, bearing loose, chipped paint. Thurston checks the front door to find it unlocked, pushing it open, and copying Aldrich's mannerism moments before, steps to the side, gesturing for the rest of the coterie to enter. As they each step forward into the hallway, they can see the few remaining pieces of furniture are covered in spider webs and dust. A broken grandfather clock rests against a stairway that bears a mould-covered carpet leading up to the next floor. Either side of them is a lobby that leads into various other rooms. And the door slams shut behind them as a cold gush of wind flies over their skin. As their attention is drawn to the door, they don't even notice the new figure silently approaching them from behind.
Good evening.
Well, hello.
And who might you all be?
Right, we're here to think of us as investigators. We've heard there's a problem. Residents? Might you be that problem?
No, actually, I am also an investigator and a collector of oddities, if you will. My name is Nara.
Nara. Nice to meet you, Nara. I myself am Aldrich.
It's nice to
And
meet
this,
you.
of course, is the lady Eveline.
I curtsy.
And I am Thurston. And I also curtsy.
He does
So
that.
for Nara, she has milky white eyes, light caramel skin, long raven black hair that falls below her shoulders. Half of her hair is in Celtic style braids with golden ringlets and beads woven in, while the other falls loose against her back. Her eyes are darkly outlined in black. And she has a cane that is black at the base, gold at the top, with hawk talons gripping a golden spear. She's not really looking at anyone directly, but she is talking to you all. Have you found anything interesting yet around here?
The door just closed on its own.
Yes, it did the exact same thing to me as well. It was very interesting, wasn't it?
Thurston.
I'll ignore her and I want to go try and see if you can open the door.
Door does not budge, shake, rattle, or roll in your hands.
Yes, I've tried that too.
Thurston, do you mind letting me know if there's anything special?
Yes, I was getting ready to do that. And I will cast Sense the Beast on Norm.
Show me Sense of Beast, please. You're throwing them straight into the deep end, aren't you? Okay, Nara, please do for me Composure Subterfuge.
Okay. So
And don't
bear
forget
with
to
me a
click.
little bit here with roll 20.
No worries. Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Thurston, roll Sense of Beast, please.
Yeah.
Oh, you got
I'm
this.
re-rolling 3. I'm re-rolling 3 of those, though.
okay, so you
Okay.
said subterfuge and composure, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. You can re-roll... Oh, there's no point. All right, I got this. Thurston wills the vitae to his eyes, casting them over the new figure before him, and is able to detect the familiar sight of a vampiric beast inside of Nara's soul. Nara feels the presence of Thurston scanning her, feeling the beast offended and scream between her ears. She wills it down, but at the cost of some of her own vitae. Increase your hunger by 1, please, Nara.
Delicious.
Thought you'd like that.
She appears to be on the up and up.
Right, that makes this much easier. Nora, we too are kindred.
Ah, I see. Interesting. All of us here. And what was it that you said that your business was here for?
Well, Nora, lucky for you, we are here to destroy something that is not kindred. So, seems safe for now.
I see. Were you also asked to do this by the realtor who's interested in selling this place?
No, we were not. That's why you're here.
Correct. That is
Businesswoman?
why- Yeah.
It's not a
Yes.
realtor.
Oh, are you local? I've not seen you at Elysium.
I dabble in quite a bit of traveling. But
Be rude
yes.
to ask what clan you hail from.
Oh, very blunt. I am that of Ravnos. And
Right,
yourself.
Ravnos. Gonna glance at the others.
I'm sorry, is that a problem?
No, I was seeing if my coterie knew what a Ravnos was, and are any of us familiar with that? I am not, personally.
I'd have to ask if I was. If not, probably
I
not.
really doubt Evelyn would be.
Thurston, how many dots have you got in intelligence? No, how many dots have you got in occult? Sorry.
0.
Okay.
Oh, if it's occult related,
Yes.
3.
I think that's enough to know of Ravnos, that they are a travelling clan with a reputation that's soiled. Though whether it's deserved or undeserved, you're unsure.
Oh, gypsies.
That's Eveline.
Evelyn.
I see your clan is not accepted into proper kindred society. How unfortunate. I myself, clan of kings. Thurston, I don't think you need to make guesswork about. Eveline is, of course,
I'm
go
an
ahead.
upstanding woman.
The clan of
A
the
pillar
cannon.
in society.
Interesting.
I'm also a daughter of cacophony.
That's the one.
Nice. Interesting. Okay. Well, I have been searching here for a while, and she walks around the room as though she is pretty familiar with it. She has her hands, which are gloveless, that are caressing and touching objects and furniture as she moves, familiar with their position, avoiding them. Her cane tapping on the other side as she walks. But I haven't found anything specific in this room as of yet.
May I ask now, how long have you been here?
Oh, I would say perhaps an hour or so.
Fascinating.
Again, I'll ignore her and just start looking around the room.
You'll see there's basically
I would know it's better than her.
rotten furniture, mouldy carpets, the stairs that lead up, and lobby that goes to the left, and a long lobby that goes to the right.
What were your specific instructions with this? Maybe you heard more than we. We were given very little information.
Ah. So my team had done quite a bit of research into this building here. Quite a dark history, if I would say, but so many mysteries to explore. Dark tragedy. Have you been told of the history or looked into it at all yet?
No, we were simply told there was a problem here, and we were supposed to fix the problem. Get rid of the problem.
Yes, similar as to what I was told as well. Well, the house once belonged to an old rich family, the Sarson family. The father, Spencer Sarson, and his wife, Alice, and their young son, Oliver Jr., named after Spencer's brother. They died quite brutally. Some say that Alice and Oliver Jr. were murdered by Spencer, and he took his own life.
I see. Quite unfortunate.
We should
Even
hold a
more
seance.
unfortunate. Right, I didn't want it to come to ghosts. It's always ghosts.
A seance? I like that. I like you. Good thinking. Where shall we begin? Here in this room? I believe there are other places to explore as well.
Well, let's
Yes,
get a look at the place first, and then...
Yeah, you said that you didn't find anything in this room yet of note. Have you explored much of the rest of the building?
No. There's just something about this room that bothers me, and I can't exactly put my finger on it. I feel as though there is something here, but it just escapes me.
I'm just glad that the grandfather clock is broken. I hate going to places with those ticking incessantly.
And she walks, and she's feeling for one of the walls. And she actually takes her cane and taps up against the wall and presses her ear to it and continues going off tapping at the wall. Seems like she's trying to look for something that might budge, something that sounds a little bit different from the rest of the wall.
I would like to talk to the wall. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're hearing that coming from down the left lobby.
I turn my head in that direction.
I will start wandering that way.
And I attempt to follow the sound, again, touching furniture and using my cane to tap around. And whichever member of the coterie is nearby, I might touch up on them and touch their shoulder and lean in a little bit and say, I hope you don't mind if you can help guide the way.
You'll find Thurston and his distinctly recognizable natural moistness around his body.
Yes, I'm always at the front of the group. So yes, please stay behind me. Whatever's in here, if it attacks anyone first, it'll most likely be me.
I hope you are strong then.
Me too.
Everyone heading down the left lobby?
Mm-hmm.
The coven of undead make their way through the corridor on the left. The dust-ridden exposed dry floorboards creak under the coterie's feet as they pass by walls with damp stains running down the wall and warping. As they step forwards, the dilapidated house slowly and subtly becomes cleaner, well maintained, and the floorboards stop cracking with their every step as their footsteps become muffled by a thick carpet that runs the length of the corridor, and the paintings on the side depicting butterflies in various stages of life. As the coterie proceed forward, the sounds of voices can be heard. Aldrich is able to make the conversation out fairly clearly. A man and a woman are talking about their son, who seems to have sneaked his way into his father's office and proceeded to tear the wings off his father's butterfly collection. Aldrich takes the lead, leading the coterie through a door, with each of the undead following him in, and the door slams shut behind them, locking them in. They see a flutter of white butterflies suddenly flitting around the room, focusing on the door. And I've got more. It's that one there. Upon each wall is a single painting. One upon a yellow wall depicts a winter scene with a wooden log house covered in snow and a full moon. Upon a red wall is a painting of a sunflower in the early stages of bloom. The grass behind it seems to be wet, as if recently rained upon. Upon a black wall, a painting of a tree, its leaves turned red and starting to fall. Upon a blue wall is a painting of a meadow. The sun is high in the sky, hanging over a fully green meadow with thick, tall grass, and even flowers mixed in of full bloom.
Nara, you know a lot about the previous occupants, yes?
I do. Enough about their history.
You said that they were all brutally murdered. This room seems to be showing the different seasons in the year. What time of the year did they die?
Good question. Do I actually have that information? Storyteller?
Autumn?
Autumn.
So it's not important.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I like that thinking, though.
Is there anything else in the room other than the paintings on the wall?
Just the white butterflies hanging around by the front door. Well, the front door, the only door.
And the butterflies are alive?
There are white butterflies by the door.
Living white butterflies? I will go
Nara's-
pick up a butterfly.
I was gonna do the same thing. Yes, I was gonna feel for what was on the door.
We can both pick up butterflies.
Yes.
Yeah. You do the full
Can
Disney
you-
princess thing and butterfly lands.
Can you all describe what else is in the room for me here? She says to the coterie. Those paintings you said that were here. What stands out to you guys?
You do not see the paintings?
My vision is quite impaired, unfortunately. I see with my hands, touch, other senses, and special abilities that let me see beyond.
Well, there is
I'm a doctor who's good with eyes.
Well, there's a painting of a flower that I believe is depicting spring. A meadow, I believe, is depicting summer. A tree that I believe is depicting autumn. And a cabin in the snow clearly depicting winter.
Interesting.
The butterflies are white.
And I'm feeling the butterflies. Is there anything unique to the touch of them? Are they do they feel dried up? Do
To
they
you-
feel...
You'll notice the subtle difference that they are much, much colder.
If I sing like Snow White, will a butterfly land on my hand?
Yes?
So the butterflies are currently flying around the room as well?
They are flitting around a little bit, but they're mostly focused around the door that you came through on.
Okay, so I can hear them fluttering.
Yes.
And when
Good
we
point.
touched them, did they react in any type of way?
Like you would expect a butterfly to react, really. You can coax them to land on you, and that's when they feel much colder than a butterfly should.
Oh, you... Not now. You said you can see in other ways? What did you mean by that?
Yes. Spirits. I can see spirits. And
You see any in this room right now? I don't think those butterflies are what they...
so I will use Sense the Unseen.
I think I'm going to give that to you for free.
Oh,
And
okay.
You will see that every single butterfly has this strange, strong, white aura around it, which you will recognize as that of a ghost.
The butterflies have a spirit attached, is what you said?
Correct.
Interesting. Is the spirit in their shape, in their form, or is it a separate entity with them?
I don't think I can give you that one, I'm afraid. Think you have one.
Yeah.
I had a
Correct.
conversation on our way in. Apparently, the son came in and ripped the wings off of the father's butterfly collection. So at one point, there I assume lots of butterfly corpses in this room. I'm not surprised to see butterfly ghosts.
I've never
Please do
done
tell
a
me if you
seance with butterflies before.
Well,
I
it's so
don't.
interesting, given that butterflies are usually a symbol of rebirth, transformation, change, hope in life, even. So for them to be destroyed in such a way, it's sad.
Well, maybe that's the clue then. Birth, renewal. Sounds like what, spring to me, right? But they're also
I was
white.
thinking the same.
That painting
Yes.
has white in it. I'm not good at these things. I like hitting things, not figuring things out. So if the rest of you could quickly solve this.
Thurston, can you please bring me over to the painting of spring?
Yes. I'll guide her over to it.
And-
The one with the flower, I think.
The painting of
I-
spring.
What was that?
Yes. The painting of spring is the sunflower. Early stages of bloom with grass behind it that appears to be wet. It is on a red wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Different colors too.
And with my sense the unseen, can I see anything else unique about the painting?
You do not.
Okay. I'm going to lay my hands on it to feel it. Is there anything unique there in terms of the way it feels?
Nope, it feels like an ordinary painting.
Thurston, or any of you, is there any dates on these paintings?
Yeah, I feel like Thurston would have gone around kind of inspecting the paintings. And I've been told that there are no dates on it.
Did the flowers mean anything, Eveline? Right, don't you say they have other meanings? There's
The
these colors too.
sunflowers?
There's a lot going on. Is that the only one with flowers?
The other one's just a field with random flowers, right?
Yeah, it's a green meadow, thick tall grass, and just a few random flowers mixed in of full bloom.
And the flowers are white as well, correct?
No.
No. Okay. No white flowers anywhere.
No.
Okay. Can the paintings be... Oh, sorry.
Answering Aldrich's question. Typically, sunflowers are sent to someone showing your adoration and loyalty.
That is true.
Or happiness.
Can the paintings be moved?
I was
Yes.
just about to try that, yeah. I was just trying to figure out which one I wanted to move first.
Yes, I think maybe trying to move the paintings and seeing if there's anything on the back of them might be useful.
Wait, hold on. What were the... you don't have to describe me everything. What color? What were the 4 colors of the walls again?
Yellow, red, black, blue.
Alright. So I'm going to... probably with Nara's help, see if there's anything behind the spring painting.
There's nothing behind it, nothing on the back of it.
Nothing behind. I'm wondering... Can I take the painting off the wall?
Absolutely.
Did you describe the room, the walls, to Nara as well? The colors?
Sure.
Because I think we may be on the same track of painting,
Mhm.
placing the paintings according to the colors associated with the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So yellow, blue, red, black.
So sunflowers are yellow.
I'm thinking more of the season, right? So what if yellow for summer, blue for spring, red for autumn, and black for winter?
Black is the color of death. Winter is when things die.
Right.
Yes, that is correct. Well, shall we try?
I've got nothing else better.
Yes, let's go. And she seems very excited by this. She's like, yes.
Okay, so which one's going on which again?
Meadow on yellow,
Huh?
sunflower on blue,
Huh?
tree on red, and cabin on black.
And as you place each painting in place, it seems to move back a slight bit and become embedded in the wall. The door opens as the butterflies all fly through it and seem to disappear as they cross the threshold of the room, and the coterie walk out into the corridor, finding it back to its original, neglected, aged state.
Oh, what a team you guys make. That was good.
It's color theory, really.
So I imagine that Nara heard mostly everything that happened and something unlocked. So she's going to assume it's a door. So shall we go?
Indeed.
I'm just going to link arms with Thurston again.
The coterie proceed through the ongoing corridor, heading into another wing of the grand but run-down and neglected mansion. They pass by paintings of men and women long dead. As they pass by each one, they feel the paintings staring at them through the thick, cracked oil, and following them as they head into the room awaiting them. They each step through, either by choice or some intangible force pushing them forward, into a large conservatory. The iron bars making the frame that runs from the ground up and provides structure to the expensive glass house is exposed in between the flaking lead paint. Thick vines and unkempt plants run all across the glass windows, breaking and cracking every one in their frame. Across the broken floor tiles, in between the exposed pieces of bare earth, are various pieces of abandoned furniture. A bookshelf, mostly empty, but a few books seem to have been saved from being reclaimed by the elements. A rusted large metal globe, the colour long faded away. A broken easel with a dust and cobweb-covered paintbrush still rest in its tray. A mannequin bearing a woman's corset and flowing skirt stained with dirt and animal remains. A thick layer of dust and cobwebs cover a grand piano that sits in the corner next to a stacked pile of what appears to be board games, but has succumbed to the elements. As they look upon the grand conservatory, they watch as it fades back to its well-looked-after and lived-in glory. The moon complements the candlelight as they see a man sat in a large leather chair, staring into the bookshelf. Sat at the piano is a young child with a woman standing over him, seemingly instructing him on how to play. None of the figures or room emit sound, and they watch silently as the woman suddenly turns angry, with a look of thunderous rage upon her face, as she slams the piano lid down on the child's fingers, making him cry. Before the scene ebbs away back to its squalor, a voice whispers across the room.
Playing with piano. What did it say?
Says,
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing.
play what they are now. And the dilapidated doors slam shut behind the coterie.
I'll go over and test a key on the keyboard. On the piano.
It still works.
I follow the sound of the piano, and I rest my hand on it to feel. Is it dusty at all?
It's extremely dusty and covered in cobwebs as well.
I will sing a note and then press the corresponding key on the piano to see if it's in tune. Because I'm going to be more in tune than the piano.
Yeah, it's still surprisingly in tune.
Your voice is lovely.
Oh, you haven't heard anything yet.
I would definitely love to hear more. Where do you normally sing at? Do you sing at
Oh,
any
we're opening a new theater.
Oh, do tell.
You must come visit once we've got it all opened.
I would love to, especially if it's a chance to hear you sing.
Well, I am the best singer in London.
I wonder, have I heard of her name before?
No.
Not yet.
Not. Okay. Do you know how to play the piano?
Question, would I know how to play the piano?
You are the most musically
I
inclined of the
think
group.
so.
You'd know.
Most singers have a little bit of piano training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, and she was raised upper class, so
You'd know
surely she.
the basics for sure.
And in that scene, were there notes that were played specifically? That
The
we were able
scene
to
was
hear?
silent.
It was silent. But we did hear a voice that said, play them all, right?
You
So
Play
yes.
what they are now?
Yes.
What it said? Right, you probably, you can see ghosts. Did you just see what the rest of us saw?
Yes, I would be able to see that.
Right. And did you hear what the rest, I assume the rest of us said? Play what they are now.
Yes. So I believe we are looking for notes. And since we have a lovely singer with us, I don't think that would be a problem.
I will look around the piano for sheet music.
You won't find any that's in any legible state. It's either rotted away or succumbed to the elements.
And for Nara, when she sees scenes with spirits, it seems almost as though it's a black abyss with nothing but the appariations that she can see before her. She can't see anyone else, any other shapes. Just the energy that the spirits bring about is what catches her eye. And she does inform the others, just in case they were curious as to how she was able to see the scene that played before them.
So did anyone see what notes the child was playing?
Saw him get his fingers slammed by that awful woman.
I will sit down at the piano and start playing the last song that is stuck in my mind, which would be Angel of the Night.
Okay. Nothing happens.
I
And
mean,
naturally sing along to it.
well, play what they are now. What they are now is dead? How do you play dead? Play dead?
Oh, he
You know
was
why
in a
I'm
band
around.
called Mayhem.
What about the rest of the room?
Area.
I suggest probably looking around. There may be something around here that could give us an idea.
Yeah, there were. I remember there was board games that are, decayed away a little bit. What else was there?
A
Uh,
bookcase.
Bookcase with a few remaining books, rotten furniture, a metal globe, the colours of which have long faded away.
Can I go see
Oh,
what
and a corset
books?
and frilly dress. That's
I was also
yeah.
going
It's
to
also
ask to be taken to the books as well.
Mm-hmm.
most of the
And
books.
feeling
Sorry.
around.
Most of the books have been destroyed, but only a few remaining Encyclopedia Britannicas are left. You'll notice the collection is incomplete.
Always are.
Must have got them from a garage sale.
With Sense the Unseen, is there anything attached to the books or anything unique about them?
Nope.
Anything stand out? No? Shoot.
Any particular board games? Just generic.
Yeah, like whatever board games are time appropriate, which I know they had, but I don't know what they were.
Backgammon.
I kind of like where you were beginning to think, Aldrich, because play where they are now, or what they are now. What's kind of, Are there any traditional songs that are played at funerals?
Oh, there are plenty. And I'll start playing a funeral dirge. And singing along to it.
And nothing happens.
Maybe we need to be in their positions. Aldrich, sit in that chair. Thurston, here, take my place at the piano.
Okay.
Sure.
Can I probably have to roll for this, but can I just play the dun 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 dun?
The funeral march.
Yeah.
And no, you don't need to roll for that, and nothing happens.
I'll stand behind Thurston, grab the keyboard cover, and say, I'm sorry. And slam it
Waiting
down
for
on his
this.
finger.
I'm sorry for
Thurston, take 2 superficial damage.
I just got that back.
Is everyone alright? Because Nara can only hear everything that's happening.
No, right. No, Evelyn's just testing something. How'd it go?
I look around the room. The door's still closed.
There's nothing else really in this room to look at.
Maybe we
You
do need
missing
to do
something?
a seance.
So Nara's gonna feel her way back over to the piano, and she's going to open it and look inside, to see if there's maybe anything within the strings, maybe fondling the strings.
Do for me. Intelligence and investigation, please.
Got my confidence so high with that painting puzzle, and now I just feel lost.
Intelligence investigation, you said, correct?
Yes, please. So you hit investigation dice button first, and
Yeah.
then the pop-up. Yeah.
She got it.
Cool.
Okay, good. Okay,
Wonderful. Wonderful. Nara stares into the piano strings, barely able to see anything, when she has an epiphany of play what they are now. Walks over to the piano, presses D key, the E key, the A key, and back to the D key.
Uh-huh.
And the door opens.
I was just about to do that.
What song was that? I've never heard anything like it before. I'm glad you figured it out, though.
Yes, it just came to me. So, another door opened, correct? She was able to
The
hear that. Okay.
conservatory doors have opened, allowing you access back the way you came.
All right. Where to next?
As I walk out the door, I will keep singing those 4 notes over and over and over.
What were the notes?
Well, I can't sing in real life.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
You got Immigrant Song last week. That's the closest you're getting.
Fair enough. The coterie head towards the grand but long forgotten and broken staircase that leads to the back of the house, turns and leads up to the 2nd floor. As they wind their way up the stairs, they can hear lost echoes, the sounds of a woman speaking to a child. Why did you do it? You act like a brute, a monster. Your father loved that dog. As the words echo through the grimly lit staircase, they can hear the yapping of a small dog. They look down and see the ghastly visage of a small Yorkshire Terrier blocking their way, its head bent at what is clearly an unnatural state, forcing the small animal to look sideways and tilted at the coterie as it gurgles out its forced, small yaps.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
I try to pet the puppy.
Poor
The puppy
thing.
takes a few snaps and bites at you. Dexterity and athletics, please, to dodge.
Like I dodge.
You don't have to dodge if you don't want to.
I'll dodge. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Thank god the dog's already dead.
You can roll to get rid of the messy crit.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm just
Go on,
rolling a
get
0.
sheet. So that gives
There
you
It
3
is,
successes.
it is a common theme for Miss Hartz to have difficulties with dogs, no matter what character she's playing.
True.
But this character loves dogs. The old character hated dogs.
Eveline is just barely able to wrench her hand out of the way as the dog's jaws clamp to the air where her hand previously was.
No, bad dog.
Why do you insist on trying to pet everything?
It's cute.
Its neck is broken. Why is that cute to you?
That doesn't make it any less cute.
Never mind, knowing about Mr. Cuddles, I don't know why I even asked.
Mr. Cuddles.
He was the cutest dog ever.
Yes.
Hopefully alive. Oh. Interesting.
There's enough terrible things happening here. We don't need to bring Mr. Cuddles into this.
Yes.
Can we
he
move on
passed.
from this scene?
Quite sad.
I don't like what happened to this pup, and I don't think the kid who did this got what was coming to him. Resulting in a sense of pattern. Charlotte liked hurting things.
And hurting animals on top of that.
Right.
It usually starts with animals, and then
It does.
evolves to people.
If its mother didn't smash his fingers in the keyboard, he might be a little better behaved.
Oh, the smash
Learn
my
from
fingers?
example.
I never killed an animal. People, sure, but animals is messed up.
So it was just a hallway with the dog blocking our way?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're on the staircase, but yeah.
Is the dog blocking the staircase?
I mean, you could walk around it.
And all Nara sees is dog. Nothing else. Just dog. With a broken neck. I'm so sad.
It's just a little thing. Just step around.
Yeah, let me help you around the physical obstacles. I assume you can see that thing.
Yes, I can, unfortunately.
I'll try and walk past it, and I'll be guiding Nara as I do so.
I'm going to assume that you're taking the lead, because that would make, no pun intended, sense. And as you do, the dog charges forth, grows several times in size. Its jaw,
I'm hitting it with my cane.
its jaw opens and attempts to bite Thurston's head off its shoulders.
Nope, hitting it with my cane.
No! Bad dog!
Dexterity and athletics to dodge. And Thurston is able to, surprisingly, sprightly, jump backwards out of the way as the menacing maw clamps down once more on thin air, and the dog returns to its regular, normal size and continues yapping.
Alright, I've got this one. I'm gonna hold the dog down. Everyone else quickly move past me, alright?
I was going to ask if anyone had a rolled up newspaper.
I've got one better. I'm gonna roll up my sleeve and go to just grapple this dog.
This ghost dog.
Grapple the ghost dog.
Strength, bro! This is going to be a particularly difficult task, as the dog will change its size once you start to approach it.
Yeah, I figured. Let's rouse.
If this don't work, I got another idea.
Better work.
Holy
That's going
Nine.
to fucking work,
Yay.
you better believe it. And Aldrich
Like it.
successfully grasps and restrains the dog, allowing the others to walk past.
Right, quickly, go.
And as they walk past, Aldrich, focused on the coterie, doesn't notice that the dog disapparates from his grip and reappears at the top of the stairs, blocking their way once more.
Bad dog!
That-
Tricky, tricky.
I'm going to. No, I don't want to get down to the dog's level.
Maybe it just wants to play fetch. Throw it a stick.
Anyone have a
Maybe.
stick?
But it's clearly misbehaving, so what you do with any rightfully misbehaving dog. I'm just gonna look at the dog, point down the hallway, and just go lay down.
Dog just growls and yaps still.
Okay, does anybody have a stick?
Maybe. Dustin, give me your arm.
Why?
Never mind. Gonna look at, or look towards the others. I'm just gonna gesture at their cane.
Oh. I actually can't see you pointing, so I have no idea what you're doing. I just realized that.
I'm not doing that.
This is the VTM
Not
equivalent
doing
of
what?
stealing Nitro shoes.
Not doing what? What?
No, she uses the cane.
Oh, fair.
Oh, you are not throwing my cane. Unacceptable.
no. Like-
That was out of character.
Right.
Aldrich.
No, we're just trying to figure out how to get past this dog.
Well,
Yes,
Aldrich,
Dustin.
if the dog is clearly angry, right?
Should be, right?
And because I assume it's because it's dead, and dead in a very painful manner. You're good at fixing things. What if you fixed it?
Probably I can't bring things alive.
No,
Try
I
to
know.
snap its
but-
head back into place, maybe.
I think
You
that's
have
what.
to touch it first.
You saw how quick Aldrich is. I believe he can do it.
Well, maybe the dog just needs to be shown love, right? I'm actually quite good with animals.
Yeah, because if it's a spirit, it just hasn't gone over to the other side yet, because it's not been, I don't know, found its way yet.
Well,
I'm
let me
on the
try
right
something. Can I use feral whispers to see if I can't communicate with this thing?
Ooh.
Oh, it's a
track. Yeah, why not
spirit,
do that?
animal spirit. So yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try it. Whether it works or not. On the blood anyway.
I think I'm going to give this to you automatically and make a hard call that it's not going to work because it's a spirit, not an animal.
Hmm.
Yeah, you'll see Aldrich sort of slowly getting closer to it and just really trying to connect. And just after a few moments, well, nah, this thing's too far gone.
Yeah, that was painful for me to call, to be honest with you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
With Nara, she also has a leather Gladstone doctor's bag, and inside, she says, "I do have matches, and if I recall, dogs aren't very fond of fire. Maybe we can lure it away that way."
Well, neither are all the rest of us.
Remember Fetch? Throw it at it from afar.
I'm
That should
not
be
getting
fine.
anywhere near that stuff. Oh, welcome to. I can set you up in the right direction.
Can you light it from afar?
I still don't think that provoking this thing is the answer. Everything's had a clear, succinct answer, right? What did the woman say before we got here? Something about he's nothing but a brute?
Oh, she's referring to, right, the child. So I was trying to
Yeah.
communicate with that creature that we'd like to
Oh, and
remove the spirit of that angry little child. But I'm not
This
able
dog-
to communicate with.
the dog also held sentimental value to the father, I believe. I wonder, is there perhaps maybe something here of the father's that we could connect the dog to? Maybe
Not
that's what
unless
it's
we
looking
could
for, is its
ask
owner.
it.
We can do a seance and try and summon the father.
I like
All of
that
the
idea.
puzzles have had all of the puzzles have had clear, distinct, easy, but hidden answers.
So what's this one?
Well, I think you were onto it, but I think we just need to put it back to normal.
Oh, I mean, the thing almost took my head off, but yeah, I can go in again and see if I can't
Try
turn the
doing
head the
how-
other way, but that's not how that actually works.
Try
I can
right,
just-
but it's a ghost.
Picturing that.
We go back to the other room and get the chair that the father was sitting in.
Perhaps is there a way to conjure the father here?
Seance.
Mm.
Yes. How about you ask the Father Spirit to come here and placate this dog, Evelyn?
Well, we'll have to do a seance, so we need to sit in a circle and join hands.
Right, right.
I think this dog just needs shown kindness.
And we will show it kindness as soon as the seance is successful, right, Evelyn?
I believe kindness would be reuniting it with the very thing it loved, right?
Right, its owner. Perfect.
Okay, so everyone join hands.
I'm not doing it.
Thurston, please.
There's also like candles and crystals in Nara's bag that she sets up for the
Well,
seance. We're making it legit.
Thurston, while you help with that, I'll make sure that the Father appears. I'm gonna make a motion as if like changing my face.
Thurston, what is it you want to bloody say?
I figured that Aldrich would have an easier time doing this, but I guess I'll try it myself. I'm going to lean down to pet the dog like Evelyn did, but I'm going to go very gently, palm up, show the dog I'm not a threat.
Yeah.
Am I able to pet it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to grab its head
Uh-huh.
and turn it
Oh.
the other way to straighten it.
There's a pop sound.
Oh, no,
And-
please don't play a pop sound.
Wish I thought of that. Oh, damn. Ghost dog disappears, and you just hear...
That wasn't pleasant.
Oh,
Actually
fine.
worked,
Something
Thurston.
as simple as putting a dog's broken head back on. I was really looking forward to the seance. Another time, then. She starts putting her stuff away. Back in the
I'll
bag.
help her put the stuff up.
I'm sorry to force that one through. It was just such a simple solution.
See, Aldrich, please just don't encourage seances. They don't.
I wasn't gonna actually do it. I was just gonna look like the Father, and I was gonna do what you did, but looking in a way that it wouldn't bite me.
That's fair. Yeah.
The coterie...
So now...
Sorry,
Oh,
please.
continue. I was going to say now the stairs are clear for us to go.
The coterie finally make their way to the landing. The long upper hallway swings left and right. Many doors line the walls and are mostly filled in with debris or collapsed under the weight of the house. To the right is a long corridor with one set of double doors barely hanging on their hinges. To the left is a single door and a small wooden stairway that seems to have dropped from the roof that must lead to the attic space.
With this house's tendency to shut doors, I point to the hanging off the hinges one. I think we should go through there.
Which way, left or right?
Yes.
The one with the doors that are barely hanging on.
Right. The coterie proceed past small portraits depicting older men, women and children that slowly evolve into small photograph portraits. They step closer and closer to the double doors that barely hang on the hinges. They push the doors open and proceed to fall flat, down, drawing the gathered kindred's attention. When they look up, they find a man and a woman in the room, aggressively arguing with each other. The man is talking about how his wife, presumably the woman, does not show enough affection to their child, and is worried that he may end up like his brother. The wife is against coddling the child, and berates the man for being soft after coming back from the war. She raises the child like any other normal family does, and the more affection would only serve to warp the child's mind, who is already acting strangely. The woman marches off, turns in the doorway, and shouts that one day he will find himself dead if he doesn't steel himself, and leaves, fading to nothingness in the hallway. leaving the man sat on the bed, clasping his hands as the coterie look upon his visage. He frowns and looks straight up at the gathered kindred. Who are you? How did you even get here? Are you staff my wife has hired again without telling me?
If by staff you mean very convoluted things to do around the house, then yes.
Yes, absolutely. We're simply here to help.
Highly inappropriate that you have just walked into the master bedroom without announcing yourselves.
Pardon us. We didn't realize this was the master bedroom.
I understand you're clearly new. You will slowly find your way around. Is there something I can help you with?
You sound upset, like you're in need of a song.
Any entertainment to take my mind off of things will suffice.
I'll start singing a lullaby.
Eveline proceeds her rendition of Lamb of God's 11th Hour.
Puts me straight to sleep every time.
The man seems slightly more relaxed. Does Eveline wear any rings?
Yeah, she'll probably be wearing rings. Fashionable thing.
I say, miss, your jewelry is rather splendid for such staff. My wife still bears an engagement ring on her right hand from a previous relationship that ended in her youth. I fear that she is overly attached to it.
That seems highly inappropriate. She should be wearing your rings.
Quite agree.
Did you give her a ring? Does she have one of yours?
I bought a special engagement ring just for her, and she inherited the family wedding ring.
And what does that ring look like?
It is a further down on my
It is a
list.
shiver doesn't know.
It is a thin
Very check.
silver ring with an emerald embedded into it.
Hmm. Is there any inscription at all on the band or no? Just a simple ring.
My brother's name is inscribed upon it.
Your brother's name?
Indeed.
Would your brother happen to be Oliver?
It is. You know him.
Somewhat, you would say. Know of, yes.
My father had a similar ring as well, but his was a thick gold band. Again, my brother's name was engraved upon it.
Why is it that your brother's name was engraved on both of the rings?
I survived, and he did not.
I see. My apologies.
While this conversation's going on, I would like to look around the room for a jewelry box.
The man fades, with a confused look on his face, and leaves the coterie in the squalid bedroom. The bed is rotten, with sheets long forgotten, and the remains of a bedside set of drawers sit next to the head of the bed. Wits and awareness or intelligence and investigation, whichever you would prefer, Eveline.
Intelligence and investigation. Oh, really?
Would you like success at cost?
Sure.
As Eveline searches through the room, the blood in her veins urges her to come out on top, to own and to establish dominance. This compulsion drives Eveline not only to excel, but to revel in it, taunting the weak and challenging the strong. She makes their next interaction into a competition, using all means at her disposal to end up victorious and to rub the nose of the loser in their defeat. She cannot use teamwork and perform any action that avoids establishing dominance or challenging authority at a 2-dice penalty to all of her pulls. This compulsion ends when Eveline has won and gloated over it. You are suffering from the dominance compulsion. And inside of the drawer, you find a thick gold ring. Engraved on the inside is the name Oliver.
I think Nitro was going to make the joke I was going to make.
Go for it.
The Karen level is turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Pull out the ring. Look! Look! I found it. Of course I found it. Of course. It's a beautiful piece of jewelry. No one else would find it except me.
I'm fond of jewelry as well.
But obviously it belongs on me. Beautiful jewelry. Just like I am.
Are you planning on keeping that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's mine. I found it.
I believe that belongs to Spencer and his family. You should
They're
return
dead,
it.
aren't they?
Yes, but I believe in order to move on and find what we're actually here for, we may have to return that to Spencer.
Only if he asks nicely for it.
Do I sense him still in the room?
No.
But his spear is no longer on the bed, correct?
Correct.
So I'm just going to move my head in the direction until I see an apparition appear before me. Does he show himself?
He does not.
So I'm going to speak out to him instead. Spencer, I believe we found your ring.
I found the ring.
Yes. Would you like it back?
You'll hear loud creaks in the room, very much out of place, as if something is straining against the very walls itself, but you don't get a direct response.
Is it creak from the wall, you said?
All the walls are creaking in.
Walls. I'm going to take my lovely cane and tap at the wall. 1 tap for no and 2 taps for yes. As how I describe it. And see what I get.
It just sounds like the creaking becomes louder, as if something is straining against the very walls themselves.
I'd like to put on the ring.
Nothing happens. Nothing more happens.
Can I check either the same? No, I'll check the other bedside table.
That was it. There was only the one.
Oh, there was another. Can I look over it again? Because I know he described 2 rings: the gold one that we found, and then the silver one.
And you, that's fine. You don't need to roll. You won't find anything. I believe I can do this as well. That Nara's eyes gloss over, noticeably more so than they are already. And she has a premonition that this room bears no more clues and will yield no more information, and that they need to move on into the left corridor.
I relay that to the rest of the group. We must move on.
Very well.
I will rush to the front to lead the way.
You may keep that ring on now, but remember, you may have to give it back.
Ignore.
Since she's all the way up in the front, Aldrich, I know that sometimes Evelyn acts a bit strange, but tonight it's been...
Sometimes.
Right. But, I mean, usually it's because of, the thing that happens to us every once in a while where we slip up and get angry at ourselves and whatnot. But it's never been this prolonged. Usually it's just for an hour or two.
I don't think she's acting all that different, to be honest.
Have
you noticed it gets worse when you bring other women around?
Yes, actually.
I'm hearing all of this.
Yeah.
I think all women had just heard that, to be honest. You don't know this yet. Mandy is in a car driving her fucking way to your house right now. And she's going to hit you around the back of the head.
Hey, this is Aldrich, who's notoriously terrible with...
You don't
really
want to
everyone.
know what... Oh, bollocks, why can't I remember her screen name?
Can't threaten me if you don't know.
The woman that scares the shit out of me is on her way as well. And I don't remember her screen name, and I'm not about to reveal her real name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. But I can't remember her name right now either.
I'm lost.
I play with them?
Yes.
April?
I can't
Reagan?
remember her. Yes.
No,
she doesn't scare me.
Talking about...
No. The other one. Her sister. But I can't remember her name. Deuce's
Was
sister.
Petty Dreadful?
Thank you.
Yes.
She scares? I'm more scared of April. Anyway. Yeah, Nora would absolutely hear
We're off.
Aldrich say that.
Sorry, my fault.
I assume that I haven't actually won something that I'm gloating over. Okay. Just gloating to gloat.
Hopefully that ring doesn't have any influence.
Oh, no,
Oh,
she's been
no, it's
doing
not the
it all
ring. It's
night.
just her.
Yeah. Like her
Listen,
whole
you
thing
remember
with the-
earlier when Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to bring up earlier when she was all of a sudden very protectful about information because it's what women do or whatever she said. I wouldn't even tell me how to open a door.
And at my establishment, remember the receptionist was rude to her? You saw how she got.
That was pretty normal, though.
That's what I'm saying. This is perfectly normal for Evelyn.
I don't
But yes,
know.
Nara, if the time comes for her to part with the ring, perhaps you could talk to her.
Oh yes. Let's see what I can do. Fingers crossed. But if you say this is normal of her, then
I didn't say it's not a problem. I just said it's normal.
I will stop where I'm at, turn around, and go, I can hear you.
Oh, you cannot.
And then turn around and
You were
bark.
leading the way. Right. I'll just look to the others and be like, all right, just careful. I won't let her hurt you. We follow Evelyn.
A small breeze picks up in the corridor, sending a bitter chill through the coteries' skin as they make their way through to the straight, eroding corridor and turn into the door, finding a large four-posted bed with thin drapes covered in tears and huge chunks of wood missing from the posters, and pieces of torn carpet thrown all across the floor. In the corner are the remains of a large vanity table. The mirror, long smashed, rests atop the warped and damp wooden top pieces.
I immediately go over to the vanity and start rummaging through it.
You'll notice that the broken chair that's next to it has begun to rot away, but still seems to bear the stain of blood on the cushion. Do intelligence...
Where would happen?
Intelligence and investigation, or wits and awareness, whichever you prefer.
Nice.
And you will find a key for a mortise lock.
See?
A skeleton key.
The one finding everything around here.
You're doing
Usually
wonderful.
Whatever. I mean, usually when I'm finding stuff, it's because I'm barging into the room first, too. Well, if you found the key, if you found the lock...
Well, no, you are sitting here talking my ear off and haven't given me a chance.
I never realized I was so distracting. Usually you just ignore me.
I will continue to rummage around the room.
Same again, please.
I feel like Thurston's just sitting there with his hands on his hips. Like, fine, you do
Like,
it.
whatever she's gonna do.
Nara's still looped with you. She feels this.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes.
Eveline rummages once more and finds a spent bullet that has been fired and clearly impacted with something due to the way it has been crumpled in.
See, I found this too.
And
Wait,
do
is it-
I sense anything around these items?
No.
Hmm. And around the room?
You know that there is something extremely important still to find within the room.
Yes, there's still definitely something here. And what else was in the room that was described?
Broken bed and the broken vanity mirror table thing.
Perhaps checking underneath the bed? Or moving the bed to the side?
Intelligence and investigation, or wits and awareness, whichever you prefer.
So this is going to be a helping her thing, even though I'm trying not to do the work. While she's doing that, I rush over so that I might be the first one to find something and just start rummaging, throwing stuff, picking apart the bed.
Wits and awareness, or
Strength and
intelligence and
investigation.
investigation, whichever you prefer, and this is now going to be a contest roll.
Ooh.
I figured I would actually be giving her a +1, but okay.
Nope, because your compulsion is still technically in effect.
And it was investigation. What else? I'm sorry.
Intelligence and investigation, or wits and awareness, whichever you prefer. Would anyone like to re-roll?
My willpower is a little too down. It's not worth it.
In that case, I will just give the win to Nara, as she initiated it, and is effectively the aggressor. Plus, manners to the guest. Nara finds...
What else is
underneath-
happening, Aldrich? Because I just go like, Eveline, well, let's just give a
Don't worry.
half-ass attempt to stop her, but not actually do anything.
No,
Don't
no,
worry, I
no.
got it.
Stop.
It's okay.
No, stop.
Underneath the bed, Nara finds a thin silver ring with an emerald embedded into it, and immediately recognizes it for what it is.
I believe this is the other ring we are looking for, and she shows it to the others.
Oh, excellent.
Can I snatch it from her?
No, move my hand away.
No.
Down.
She can see.
Bad. That's true. Unfair advantage. And
really wanna
suddenly
go
it
for
is
it?
gone from Nara's hands. Or maybe I can sense her movement and move out of the way just in time. I'm gonna try that.
Eveline, dexterity. I think larceny?
That would make sense.
Nara, dexterity and athletics, please.
Nara, before you roll that, because I've been kind of guiding Nara around, can I assist her in...
Oh, fuck.
Nara, have
And the D.
+1.
Yes. Okay. And it was athletics
Dexterity.
and
Yeah, athletics, dexterity, and you may have a +1 modifier.
can hang this.
Very nice. Nara is able to keep the ring out of Eveline's grasp.
Nay, I say. Nay.
Unfortunately,
I
for
wag a
Eveline-
finger at her too.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, this is just replacing one compulsion for another.
Oh, where did I write down your clan? There it is. As Eveline feels affronted by being unable to take the ring, the song that is always playing inside of her head becomes louder and louder, overwhelming her. The compulsion to sing and perform is louder than it has ever been. Eveline will be looking for any chance that she has to perform and sing this song as loudly as she can to get it out of her mind. Any action that is not towards that end suffers a 2 dice penalty. This compulsion will end when Eveline has finally been able to sing the song. You are suffering from sustained dissonance, your clan compulsion.
This is the one that's really annoying.
Now you know how it feels to have more than one beast at the same time. It's not fun. I've been there too.
And in the meantime, with the ring, I'm not going to put it on, but I look for a satin bag within the doctor bag that I have that holds another important item to me, and I'm just going to place it in that bag alongside. Keepsake.
Wonderful.
Nara, do you believe there's anything left in this room that remains untouched?
I'm going to give another look around with my special abilities to see if there's anything else.
I'll let you have that for free as well, because there is nothing else that you can find here.
Nothing with my sight that I can see. No.
Well, Eveline... Oh, sorry, Nara.
I believe we have both the rings that we need now. We may be able to go back to the other room and see if Spencer's responsive.
Well, it does appear that there's a blood stain on this bed. Could this maybe be where their final moments took place?
Oh. Since Nara didn't know this because she can't see. Just going to
Oh, my
feel...
apologies.
It's fine. Feel on the bed. It's dried, right? The blood.
Yes. The blood
Just a
stain is on the broken chair that's by the vanity mirror, not the bed.
Oh, my
Okay.
mistake.
feeling over, fondling over to this. I'm going to take in the scent, if there is any scent from the blood. And if there's anything I can tell from it.
Wits an awareness for me, please. The blood itself gives you no information. However, you notice something out of the corner of your eye and turn to look and see strange tendril-like black and crimson colours emanating from the attic.
Oh, now that's a sight to see. I'm following it, going towards it.
Well, I believe she knows where she's going, so...
Yes, come along now, children. Up to the attic we go.
The attic we go.
I'm
Right.
surprised you didn't sing Ghostbusters, to be honest.
Not there yet. It's in the repertoire.
It's in the lineup.
Oh, that's an image. Okay.
The small
Ooh.
wooden stairs almost feel like they breathe as the coterie make their way up to the attic. As they step off the ladder into the large room made up of the grand house's roof space, the various holes in the ceiling allow the night sky to leak in off in the corner of the relatively open space. In the corner, the coterie can see a small child bent over, pulling on something roughly. They slowly approach the small figure and catch sight of the young boy, slowly tearing feathers out of a dead crow as tears stream down his face. They close in and see a strange, unknown symbol drawn out in blood next to the child's crossed legs.
Now, question, because I remember earlier being told of this little boy having a brother. Now,
Oh, the
Nar's-
father had the brother, not the little boy.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, that cleared that question up. Thank you.
I was thinking the same thing she was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think the uncle was a murderer or something because he was afraid of his son ending up like his brother, he said. Like the dad's brother.
Okay, I was thinking the son ending up like this.
So like Oliver Sr., something's fucked up with him because the brother's like, I'm worried my son's gonna be like the uncle.
Well, from what I
Gosh.
recall with the research, Spencer's brother, Oliver, died due to consumption in 1850. And he also had an older sister who was a victim of an unknown murder. The murder seems to be a common theme here.
Right, not so unknown. Oliver, is the kid still there? Do we still see him?
Yep.
Does he notice when I call out his name?
Nara. Roll Sense the Unseen
Yes.
for me, please.
Yes. Oops.
It's okay.
While this is going on, I start singing That's Your Funeral from the musical Oliver.
Are there any modifiers for this? I'm not sure. I don't
No.
think so. Okay.
Wonderful.
Doing well tonight. Very impressed.
Nara spies a child. And as she does so, the entire room changes. For the coterie as well.
Hmm.
They can see, next to the child, as he's ripping the feathers out of the crow, is a book with the same unknown symbol drawn out for him. Nara can see menacing crimson and black tendrils creeping out from the floor. Does anyone have occult over 2?
Evelyn does.
Just Eveline?
I do.
Excellent. Nara and Eveline, casting their sights upon the book, will see that the book is written, and I'm probably going to completely butcher this pronunciation, Enochian, the language attributed to angels. The Coterie watch as the boy stands up, slowly, purposefully, and descends down the stairs, taking a ceremonial sword from the wall, and Nara will see the same menacing tendrils are now in the boy's eyes.
There's definitely some dark work here. A book, angels. I like the... Yes, angels. The symbol in the book that was next to the little boy, it's in reference to angels, yes.
I start singing Fly to the Angels by Slaughter.
And his eyes definitely were not normal. I believe there may have been something influencing the boy. Now, as to what is the question?
Is the book still on the floor?
Yes.
I would like to pick up the book.
Eveline bends down to pick the book up, but finds
Picking up the book.
her fingers travel through the phantom book, unable to
Not
make physical
picking up the
contact with it.
book.
Looking at the symbol on the floor is the same as the book, correct?
Correct.